Welcome to InfoWars Nightly News on this Thursday, May 30th, 2013. Here's what's coming up.
Tonight on the InfoWars Nightly News, the Tea Party aims to tar and feather the IRS with constitutionally backed litigation. Plus, experimental GMO seeds blow across America. Now American farms are being invaded by the Monsanto monstrosity. Meanwhile, they are burning and banning GMOs in Europe and Asia. All that and more on the InfoWars Nightly News.
And tonight on InfoWars, our top story, the Tea Party is striking back against the IRS. Yes, they're a little angry about being targeted for having names like Patriot and Constitution and Liberty in their nonprofit group names. So 25 groups have joined in a lawsuit against the IRS, saying that their rights were violated by the IRS. The American Center for Law and Justice is spearheading this lawsuit, and it accuses the IRS of, quote, comprehensive, pervasive, invidious, and organized scheme to violate the First and Fifth Amendments, the rights of Tea Party members, in a spectacle of suppression more fitting to the Dark Ages. Yes, this lawsuit sends a very powerful message to the IRS and the Obama administration, they say. He's the chief counsel of the ACLJ, including the White House. Americans are not going to be bullied and intimidated by our government. They will not be subjected to unconstitutional treatment and unlawfully singled out and punished because of their ideological beliefs. Those responsible for this unprecedented intimidation ploy must be held accountable. Well, good for them. It looks like that's the only way any action is going to take place, is by suing the government when they violate our rights. Now, our next story, a GMO pollution alert is upon us. Remember how we warned about the age of genetic pollution. Now, why is genetic pollution so bad? Because it's self-replicating pollution. Worse than chemical pollution, because you can clean that up. But DNA pollution, or genetic pollution, is a self-replicating pollution. The problem just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and you can't put that genie back in the box. Well, here's what's happened. Genetically engineered wheat that was experimentally planted by Monsanto from 1998 to 2005 across 16 states in the United States has now escaped the experimental farms. And it has been found, according to the USDA, it has been found on a farm, a commercial farm in Oregon. This means that the commercially grown wheat in the United States is now contaminated with GMOs that have never been approved for commercialization or for sale. This is a very big deal. I hope you get this, because it means that other countries around the world could start banning the importation of wheat from America. Think about that. What's that going to do to the U.S. farmer? So now we have a situation where the government's collusion with Monsanto and the biotech industry to have open field experiments on GMOs could cause the wheat industry to suffer a collapse, where farmers are going bankrupt and put out of business because other nations won't allow that wheat to be imported into their countries. In fact, I've already heard, I haven't verified this, but I've heard that Japan has now put out an announcement that they may be looking into banning wheat imports from the United States for this very reason. So as Monsanto was telling farmers, hey, we'll make you more money, well, we'll increase your crop yields, things will be better for you, it turns out that this GMO experiment may cause farmers to go bankrupt. And that's why we got to stop this. It's just one more reason. Oh, and by the way, if the genetically modified wheat is escaping, probably the corn is escaping, and we're getting genetic pollution from all kinds of other crops as well. So this is a big problem, not limited to just wheat. All right, next story. Thousands and thousands of Associated Press phone calls were monitored by the Department of Justice. This is what has come out from a memo from Gary Pruitt, the CEO, the chief executive of the Associated Press. He says that now it turns out the government didn't just monitor a few phone calls, they monitored thousands and thousands of calls in and out of the news organization. He said that this means the Obama administration is acting as, quote, judge, jury, and executioner in secretly obtaining the news organization's records. Now remember, too, that everybody in Washington, including Attorney General Eric Holder, is saying, We don't know anything about this. We don't know. Don't have any knowledge. Don't know. We didn't know. I know nothing, as the comedy bit goes. But the Associated Press knows. They know that they were monitored and they were illegally surveilled and had their phone calls monitored and their phone records confiscated as part of this intimidation and oppression campaign against the free press in America. So this is a big deal, and it also explains why the press is now turning on the Obama administration. And by the way, Eric Holder announced that he was going to have a secret off-the-record meeting with members of the press, I guess to intimidate them a little more off the record, probably to threaten them. You know, hey, if you publish anything on this, we're going to find your body in a dumpster in the back alley. That's probably what they're being told now. It's all about intimidation. But guess what? Most members of the big mainstream media are refusing to attend. CNN says nope. Huffington Post says nope, don't want to go. Associated Press, not sorry, don't want to go. Who else? Other big organizations are saying not interested in any more scams from Eric Holder. All right, next story. The IRS's Schulman, this is the former IRS Commissioner Douglas Schulman, he visited the White House 157 times during the Obama administration, proving that he visited the White House more than Timothy Geithner, more than Tom Vilsack, more than other high-level officials, including our favorite, Janet Napolitano. Yes, what was the IRS commissioner doing visiting the White House? Well, fill in the blanks on that one, folks. My guess is they were plotting, conspiring. Yes, conspiracies do exist, especially at the White House. They were conspiring to selectively target conservative groups for IRS intimidation and oppression. And now that's all coming out, so we know why they were at the White House. You can bet they weren't there to roll Easter eggs on the White House lawn with the First Lady. Although, I'd pay good money to do that. Trust me, that's high on my bucket list, but I don't think they were there for that activity. Next story. A special IRS prosecutor favored as Obama support drops. This is an article out of Bloomberg that reveals that 76% of registered voters in a survey say that they would back a special prosecutor to investigate the IRS targeting of Tea Party groups. Now, this is fascinating because that level of support includes 63% of Democrats. Yes, Democrats, who by and large enjoyed the IRS targeting Tea Party groups, which, by the way, also just shows you how pathetic their philosophical foundation really is if they supported that thing. That's why I'm glad to see 63% saying we need a special prosecutor, because any group that says, yeah, let's abuse liberty and let's have the government behave as a criminal mobster, as long as they're targeting our political enemies, those people are dangerous. Anybody who supports that. If the IRS was targeting liberal groups, we should be outraged. The truth is, the IRS should never be used as a political weapon, not under any administration. And by the way, the head of the IRS visited former President Bush, I think 0 times or maybe once, but not 157 times like the previous one did with the Obama administration. Hi, this is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, with some news about some new additions to the InfoWars store. You know, good health is freedom. When you're healthy, you're not a slave to the medical system. Everything works well, your brain, your body, even your spirit. You're a healthier person. And to help support that great health, Alex has asked me to source the cleanest, most potent superfoods and other similar products in the world and bring them to the InfoWars store. So we've done that. The brand name is Health Ranger Select, and we're starting out right now with these 3 products. We've got Himalayan salt from Pakistan, formed hundreds of thousands of years ago in an ancient seabed long before modern pollution destroyed much of the oceans. This is loaded with trace minerals, and it's pristine, true, full-spectrum sea salt. We've also got Natural Attitude Turmeric. It's an extract of turmeric, very potent, tastes great, alcohol-free. This is from organic turmeric out of India. And we've also got Clean Chlorella. And we sourced and did research on all the chlorella sources around the world, and we found the 2 cleanest sources that have the lowest levels of any kind of contaminants. In fact, this one is virtually free of all metals and all contaminants. It's called Clean Chlorella, and it's about 2/3 protein, and it's got chlorophyll and chlorella growth factor in it. Check it out online. It's an amazing superfood that athletes are using and people are using to help support healthy lifestyles. It's fantastic. This is all packaged in our certified organic facility here in Central Texas. There we follow USDA certified standards, and we're audited every year by the USDA certifier to make sure that we comply with all organic standards. That, combined with the fact that we only source super clean superfoods and raw materials from around the world, means that our products represent the cleanest and most potent products that you'll find across the natural products industry. Check all of these out under the Health Ranger Select brand name at the InfoWars store, InfoWarsStore.com. And we'll be bringing you more of these in the near future. Thanks and take care.